Hey, welcome to Forest County Outback. As you can see, we're back in the business of making videos. I finally got my computer back. I'm able to edit now. So today we're on the upper reaches of Ross Run, and we are going to go look at the site of Teddy Collins' first sawmill. This is Forest County Outback number 16, the mill at Turkey Run. Now, I've mentioned Teddy Collins in past videos. I've never explained who he was. Truman Dowd Collins is a legend in Forest County. He was born in Cortland, New York in 1831. He came to Forest County in the early 1850s with his brother and a couple of friends. And they went to work as woodsmen, cutting and skidding logs. And Teddy at that time was being paid 60 cents a day for a 12-hour day, 6 days a week. When he passed away in 1914, he was a millionaire a couple times over. He had owned and operated in his lifetime 9 sawmills. He was the largest landowner in Forest County. He owned most of the timberlands on the lower Tionesta Creek watershed. He had been instrumental in developing the towns of Galenza, Nebraska, Kellyville, and Mayberg. He had built the Sheffield and Tionesta Railroad, a couple 100 miles of logging railroads, the Tionesta chemical plant. He owned boat yards. They built barges and flatboats for the Ohio and Mississippi River trade. He had oil and gas leases, had business interests in Oil City, Pittsburgh, Cincinnati. He also, with his son, owned a large sawmill and timberlands in Washington State, and had real estate in Southern California, and had funded the construction of at least a score of Methodist churches. To say the least, Teddy was a busy guy. And it all started on this little stream here with his first sawmill. And we're going to walk up here and look at the site of that mill and talk a little bit more about the beginnings of the Teddy Collins empire. Okay, we've come to the site of the mill. And it doesn't look like much now, but I'll walk around here and I'll show you the features that distinguish it as being the mill site. Now, I do have 2 vintage maps of this area, and they put this mill precisely on this spot. Now, it did not have rail access. It was here before the railroads. Now, over there on the other side of the creek is the grade of the Hickory Valley Railroad. That wasn't built until, probably 30 or 40 years after this mill shut down. So access was by Wagon Road, and we'll talk about the Wagon Road here a little bit later. But anyhow, this site here, this area here, was excavated, and it's cut across here, and then it turns and it goes down. There's an edge along here. Let's go over here, see if we'll get a better view. So it goes down here and down through that, along that raceway. Now, this mill was described as a steam mill, but I suspect it was probably water powered at first and then converted to steam later. Now, it wasn't built by Teddy Collins. It was built by John Alexander. And he was a very early lumberman. He started his operations up in this area in the 1830s and 40s. By 1855, he was getting up in years and he was starting to sell things off, and that's when Collins and a couple partners bought this mill and the timberland. Now the price was $20,000, which was a pretty good piece of change at that time. They put $3,000 down, and then they had 3 years to pay the balance off, which they managed to do. And they must have been pumping some lumber out of here at that point. Okay, so back here, that's that excavated area. And then over here, I think there looks like there was a small dam here at one time. And there was a pool back here. It looks like this area back here had been excavated. And it's got some nice, it's got a nice, look at this, nice straight cut along here. And the same on the other side. And, you know, see the water is still going down this race. Now, there's not much known about the operations of this mill. Collins did sell it in 1867, and at that time he had acquired his second mill, the Beaver Valley Mill, and was moving his operations over there. I suspect that what he sold was the cut-over timberland, and because as long as this mill had been in operation, they had probably cut all the available timber. And it wasn't in Collins' nature to set up a competitor in business. So they probably moved the equipment out of here and just sold, like I said, just sold the cut over timberland. I look at this platform here. It comes down and then it's cut off. Just like almost straight across there. So I can't imagine, given the map locations and what this area looks like here, I can't imagine it was anything other than the sawmill. Now, even though it's on Ross Run, it was called the Turkey Run Mill. Turkey Run comes in, maybe 30, 40 yards downstream. It was also known as the Posey Fields Mill at times. Now, this is going to be a pretty short video. So at the end, I'm going to take some time to discuss something, some feedback that I've been getting. So stick around for that. I want to talk about feedback, ignoring it, maintaining your standards, and Jimmy Buffett. So hang around for that. Now there's a couple other things we want to look at here. Now I don't know how this is going to show up. This is a Lidar image, and this is what's called hillshade. There's a couple different versions. So this is, well actually it's down here, more like where Turkey Run comes in. We're up in this area here. Now, right on how well it shows up, but right here, there's a rectangular feature here, which would be right over that way somewhere. We're going to take a look at that. But then, okay, so here's the, here's the rectangular feature. Here's the old railroad grade across the stream. Now, up the hill from that, there's okay, here it is. There's this feature here. It's either a ditch or a road, and it doesn't show up here, but there are a couple rectangular features here that look like they were probably buildings. And then you come up here and over this way, and there's a boundary. And we're going to go take a look at that. This is another form of Lidar. This is called aspect. And I'm not real certain how to interpret this. But there's that rectangular feature. And then over here, we can see that straight line, that feature, and sort of the boundary up here. And then there's another one I use. You put all these, compare these three. Sometimes you can pick up things that on one that don't show on the other. This is called slope. And this, okay, where is it? Okay, here's that rectangular feature here. And then over here, there's the that road or ditch or whatever. So we're going to go over and look at that. But first, we're going to go up here and look at this, see if we can find this rectangle and see if there's any sign of that and indication of what it might have been. Okay, this is that rectangular area. It's just kind of flat. There's no indication of what was here. So yeah, I mean, there was something here. We don't know what, but there it is. Okay, so this is that road. I said it looked like a ditch or a trail. It was some kind of a trail here. And I looked around, I didn't see any sign of those rectangular features, but as you can see, the area's been logged over. So any sign of whatever that was probably wiped out. This is the railroad grade I was talking about. This is the old Hickory Valley, Wheeler and Duesenberry, which went from Endeavor to Ross Run Junction. And we've talked about that in the, what was it, Traces of the Past and History Out Your Back Door. And this is just a continuation of it down Ross Run. So I think that pretty much, well, no, we gotta look at the road, the old Wagon Road, and then that'll wrap it up. Stick around. Like I said, I have something I do want to talk about at the end here. Hey, I'm standing on an old wagon road that was used to transport lumber from that sawmill down to Tynester Creek, where it was floated out to the Allegheny River. Now, this is kind of an example of why it's good to be skeptical of some written accounts, because I did read an account where the author stated that the nearest shipping point was Newtown, and that they built a road up over the mountain and down the other side to get to Newtown. Well, this was before railroads. So the nearest shipping point was the quickest way you could get your lumber to Tynesta Creek to float it out. And that is down this road, which parallels Ross Run down to Tynesta Creek. And this road shows on the maps from that time period. The alleged mountain road does not, although there is a road that does go up over the mountain, but it was a farm road. This, I'm sure, was the route that was used to transport lumber out of here. Since this is a short video, I'm going to take a minute to address long videos. I've been getting some feedback from a couple people, 2 to be exact. You told me my videos are too long and I would get more views if I shortened them up. And I agree. It's a valid observation. I'm not going to do it though, because I initially was going to try to keep my videos under 20 minutes, but when I get out there and start telling a story and telling it the way I want to, 20 minutes usually doesn't cut it. They run out to 25, 30 minutes. And I'm not trying to be the next YouTube sensation. I'm not looking for a kabillion views and likes and all that stuff. These videos there's a target audience these videos are made for. They're made by a history nerd for other history nerds, and for people who are familiar with this area and realize what a special place it is. That's who I'm making these videos for. And I also make them for me because these are the kind of videos I want to watch. And it kind of reminds me of an early Jimmy Buffett song. It was on the A1A album called Making Music for Money. And the gist of it was his agent was busting on him, telling him you need to make money, and to make money you need to basically lower your standards and give everybody what they want. And Jimmy's response was, turning on the people is a beautiful place to be, but if I spend my time making them up a rhyme, who's going to turn on me? Ain't going to make my music for money, I'm going to make my music for me. And that's the way I feel, and that's what I'm going to keep doing. Now, sadly, not everybody can maintain those values. Some people start out that way and then they end up buying an estate in Sag Harbor and hanging out with those people in the Hamptons. Ain't going to happen here. So I just want to say, Jimmy, it's not too late, buddy. You can still come home. Everything after the Floridays album will be forgiven. Okay? In the meantime, if you like what you're watching, what do you got to do, Rowan?
Smash that like button and leave a like.
Right. Okay. Catch you on the next one.
Catch you.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, and comment. And this actually brings up a good example of why it's sometimes skeptical to be, yeah. Okay, there it is.
Okay, my grandpa's coming right here. This is him, right here. And then talk with my dad, and we'll see you guys. Okay, what are you gonna do?
All right, Rowan.
Take
All right, what was I talking?
No.
All right, this is a short video, so I want to take a minute to address some feedback.
Take
Okay, Ron.
Babe.
What even is that?
Anybody else want one? You want one, Rolo?
Me.
Sure.
Mine.
I tried.
Where'd it go? Right there. Oh. All right. All right, let's try it again here. Because